definitely a little frightening. Um, but I'm not a vampire anymore. And while I'm frightened as to what the result might be should we leave this place, I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have to drink blood anymore. For the moment, I suppose. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what to make of this place. And finding Jaden and Bambardal is going to be tough, I think. Hoping to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Because why else would we be here?
All right.
Those are my thoughts.
Do we have anything from Casimir on the events that played out, the things that you're thinking or feeling?
I am carrying this party on my strong moose legs. I am tired. I have been fighting little gribblers for like 10 hours, no rest.
Yeah.
We keep walking. And now there's city. Let's go.
Yeah, you're still floating one level of exhaustion, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then we can conclude with our dear Bright. Bright, what is on your mind?
Well, let's see. So we came here to look for Jaden and Bambardalis, and I still hope that we find them, because I, for one, would like to have Jaden back. He's kind of the key for me to getting rid of those unfortunate criminal charges that I have, and also because he's he's so committed to the law. People like that are pretty easy to fool. So all we really need to do is, get him more used to working with us, and he'll make pretty good person to have in our camp. And then let's see, Mordecai's not a vampire anymore, so that's good, because he really never lived up to that potential. So it's good that it's gone. And then
It's true.
Casimir looks funny. Casimir always looked funny, but now he looks even funnier. So,
yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, and here we are in this town. I'm glad we've got this giant golden coin. That's nice. Hopefully that'll make it all worthwhile. If we can bring that back, I'm sure we can find good use for it. I'm getting the feeling like we probably won't be able to just cash it in for money, but maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe somebody'll buy it, or if not, maybe we'll find a use for it, because I know it's really powerful. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Very well. Yeah, you went through the portal. You were on on some sort of a blasted hellscape. You flew and you traveled, and it seemed like you're moving in circles, except they weren't circles, but it kind of felt like circles. Some things were said and done, and suddenly there was kind of a mist ahead, but it was more of a fog, or like a fog or a smoke. Certainly than a fog of war or smoke of war. And you entered a brutal battlefield where something lurked, and it was a little disjointed from the things that you were seeing around. Maybe a couple clues about history. There was, of course, this giant arm you could see just barely in the background. And you did dig up a big old gold coin that... one of those things as a DM, you put it there, and you're like, well, it's there, and we'll see if it's found out, but it was. And now the players are invincible. They defeated this skulking monstrosity in one blow. I mean, when you bludgeon someone in half, that really speaks to power. And so, fueled by this immense wealth, perhaps fueled by the feelings of being invincible, you did continue on, and the smoke faded, and sure enough, you found yourselves back in the sort of fireballs coming down. The lightning is still crackling overhead, mostly in one direction. Every once in a while, like a bolt might streak down, but it's kind of random, especially amid the way that Otherwise, the bolts are flowing. And don't forget as well that Mordecai, your eyes were turned in like through the attuning to this compass. Your eyes and your compass are acting in a particular fashion. That you, from this item that you found on this creature that you defeated, the boss creature, and the professor as well ended up having a map. Although because of things being disjointed, I don't believe he had the opportunity yet to reattune to that. That being said, no one is hot on your heels. In fact, if there is any heat, it is ambient heat, just as a heads up, because things are hot again, and fireballs are raining from the sky. Presumably, you might be able to shelter underneath a giant coin, if that could help you, but that could also damage your prize, your precious. But it looks like there is actually something on the horizon, and it is approachable. I don't know, the mountains presumably could have been approachable too, so we'll have to see. But I think we pretty well ended with you leaving this war-torn area and re-emerging back into the general, bleak sky, cracked ground hellscape. So with that, we're in our characters. We are in the zone here, and what will you do?
I still got the compass and pointing it in a direction to find Jaden. So,
So are we like at the gates of the city, or is it just off in the distance?
It is off in the distance. Probably, I guess depending on the scale of this city, it might be a mile, 2 miles away. It looks like there are some large buildings either way, but it is a ways away.
Okay, so why don't we? How tired is everyone? I mean, we've been on a full day, right?
Oh yes, actually, because I'd been keeping track of this and this is since the shield went down. So this is not even counting the shenanigans you guys did while you were fighting and kiting the little goo people and whatever. It has been 8 hours.
Oh, so it's been
roughly about 12 hours for the
Yeah.
day.
Well, probably even longer than that, because
You got up in the morning to open the portal.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had, so it's been like 14 hours. Okay, well, why don't we get a little closer to the city? Not too close, just a little closer, and maybe we can pitch camp.
I can make
That
a
sounds
bubble.
great.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Okay.
Doesn't take much to do the bubble, so
Okay. You are going to be casting a spell then, Mordecai?
yes. As close as we are desiring to be,
Mm-hmm.
which is not too close, I am going to be casting Tiny Hut as the ritual.
Oh, okay. You can do so, and you can even encapsulate the treasure underneath it too, which is probably good. You don't want it to get struck by fireballs or something. Get marred up. Okay, so yeah, you create a tiny hut, and the ability for you to comfortably control the temperature inside the hut, it's not as easy as just having a modern thermostat is for us. What I would like you to do is to make go ahead and make a charisma. I guess it'd be like a spellcasting check. You're proficient in a charisma save, so just make a charisma save, and see if you can ultimately fine-tune your senses in a way to try and it's like
save or ability check.
do it as a save, because you would get proficiency, you get charisma, you get okay. Yep. Yep.
Bard.
So Mordecai, you are you manifest this dome, and you are having to kind of sync it up to feel how the magic of this place is interacting with it. Because as we saw with Bright and her mage armor, it manifested differently. And the mage hand. And the Bigby's hand. And I guess a lot of other things in different ways. And your hut does flicker into existence. The spell goes off. The slot is used. But it's disjointed. It's not maybe fully manifested. It has a lot of the properties, but it's still very uncomfortably hot inside the hut. And you attune to it, and you seem to do a decent enough job. You don't really lose out on a lot of time to try and come to terms with this place, as your hut manifests as a almost like a blister on the cracked, dried skin of the earth as it raises up, and your ability to attune in such a way to gain these benefits is aided by the fact that you have had a different kind of thinking as of late, especially when you're marching around with the coin. Maybe some of your priorities have shifted, and really this place, whatever those instincts are that it's kicking up, maybe it's about self-preservation or survival, or maybe you're just really greedy, and yeah, maybe about the gold. Maybe you really just want Jaden because she's yours. Oh, yeah, maybe she is yours. Still, in the ways that it will manifest, you have a resonance with this place, and it doesn't take very long for you to be able to adapt, and your spell then becomes comfortable. It's not it's not like when you manifested it before, when you were, I don't know, when you were on the beach and you're like, oh yeah, let's make it look kind of sandy, and then we had the whole incident with Casimir sitting on it, and et cetera, et cetera. In this case, it has a grotesque manifestation. Maybe it's kind of veiny. Maybe it even kind of pulses a little bit. But there's something about it, Mordecai. It just seems right. Like this is almost an assertion of power. Who would dare come here? Seeing this magical barrier that you've erected. Again, I'm seeding you thoughts. I am not Mordecai, so you can take whatever cues and step sideways or wholly adopt them as you will. But it does manifest, and it manifests in a way that you are... Yeah, this is how it should be. And you have mastery over it, because now you could actually, I don't know, you could turn the thermostat down a bit and actually kind of give a bit of a shiver up everyone's spines because it's a little cool in here. Or make it a little bit humid. Bright might like that because it's, she's from the jungles of Uct. Make it a little bit more like home. The bubble goes up. You have it for 8 hours.
And I think the intention is to sleep.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and...
Casimir's already asleep. You guys go in. He somehow got in before you. He's dead.
Okay.
already asleep.
He's like actually asleep. He is not trancing. He is sleeping.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set an alarm. That's just for me.
Okay.
Nobody else. It just surrounds me. That's all.
Okay. Are you all just zonking out, or are you setting up a watch? We can presume. I know we don't have lethality to play the professor, but the professor is here. Do you want to set up any kind of a watch, or is this really, Mordecai, you're like, nope, 100% money back guarantee. This is going to repel anyone who wants in, and we can all sleep at the same time.
Mordecai's fairly certain of things, so he's just gonna conk out.
Sure.
Sleep for the first time.
Yeah. Oh wow. Enjoy that.
The two characters who never sleep are finally sleeping.
Okay, well, I'll be sleeping too, but like I said, I'm setting an alarm around the hut. So anyone that comes in, including the 3 people who are already in, so if they go out and come back, it'll also ring on them.
Okay. Okay. So you all are. I'm sure the professor would also greatly appreciate the ability to just fall asleep. I'm sure he'll do some cursory. Oh yeah, everything looks magically structurally sound, and then he will curl up alongside you all and sleep, sleep, sleep.
And we're keeping the coin inside the hut as well.
Yeah. What about Jasper? I don't know if Jasper can fit inside also, can he?
I think large creatures can. I don't know that I've summoned him recently.
You
Yeah,
did.
we summoned him in the last session.
Yeah, you did
Oh, we
summon
did?
him in the
Okay.
last session. Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
And Jasper had a berry, so he doesn't look like a. He doesn't look like a. Not an arc like
No.
Phoenix, but.
No, Jasper didn't have a berry. It was Peggy Sue.
Oh, Peggy Sue. I'm sorry. Yeah, Peggy Sue.
But then she died.
Okay.
Womp womp.
Oh yeah, because Jasper. Well, wait, did you? I thought I wrote down that because he manifested like a manticore or a chimera with a scorpion tail and
Yeah.
everything, and I thought you gave Jasper a berry. Yeah, because I asked for a
Did
con.
not.
Yeah, we didn't give Jasper a berry. There was no reason to give
He
Jasper a
passed
berry.
the cat. I think he passed the con save. I don't know.
He made a con save because.
Oh, he was transforming.
Yeah,
That's what
he
I
was transforming.
He
Yeah.
hasn't been fixed.
Yeah. No, I tracked each individual berry.
Okay.
The 4 people that ate berries were Peggy Sue, the professor, Mordecai, and me.
Yes.
So we still have 7 berries left out of
Okay.
the original 11.
Okay, no problem. All right, then. Jasper is 10-foot creature. It's in what the magical hut. Well, wait, was it a hut that you summoned?
The tiny hut, yeah.
Tiny hut. That's a 10-foot radius, so 20 feet around. Bright small. Maybe you all can get cozy.
9 creatures of medium or smaller can fit inside.
Yeah. So I guess it would be
Okay.
maybe DM's discretion because, of course, he could always sit up on top like Snoopy.
Yeah, that's true.
No, if you want Jasper in, that's fine. We'll just say it's a little crowded, but honestly, Mordecai, you probably don't mind. I mean, yeah, it looks like a horrible monster, but it's still Jasper, so maybe you curl up and,
I curl up with him. It's
yeah,
fine.
you kind of share some space and go from there. Plus, Bright's only taken up, half the space anyway.
Yeah. She itty bitty.
Yeah.
It's true.
He hasn't been taking more space than usual.
Oh yeah, you're flopped
Sprawled.
even. Like, yeah, you're sprawled and all right.
He's also 7 foot now.
He rolls out his bedroll. It takes up more space than it.
His long, deer legs hang out the end of his bedroll.
Yep.
It's fine. They're covered in fur. Don't need to
And
be
his
warm.
floppy ear wings hang out the other side of the bedroll.
Okay, so you all fall asleep, and at some point during this sleep, the professor comes back into your dome, and I don't think this would be
Left.
too much of a I don't think this would be too much of a stretch here, but we'll have him Bright. You are shaken awake. Not like violently, but you're getting like gentle, like nudges on the shoulder.
Well, he'll set off my alarm when he comes back in.
Oh, okay then. Then sure. The professor does in fact awaken you magically, and then a second later, kind of like kneels down and goes to give you a shake. Bright, the professor is The professor has a concerned look on his face, and his face is very, very scabrous. In fact, when he blinks, like, you swear you saw like a little flake of scab like kind of fall out the corner of his eye. And in like his hand, like as he pulls it away from you, there's even sort of like a there's like a goo, like maybe like a coagulated blood or like a pus or something that would be under his scab. I'll try and not get terribly detailed. This isn't Halloween yet. But he looks very, very crusty and scabrous again. He seems to be, I mean, his eyes are lucid, and he whispers that he had to get up to, use the restroom. And when, as he kind of woke up after, doing his business, he blinked a couple times, maybe thinking that his eyes were dry or something. And, there he is, standing there, and his body has gone back to being gross again. So mechanically, the -2 charisma, etc. And he wanted to wake you up, wondering if you knew anything or could help him research. Like, I don't know, help me put some scabs in a jar. And you also are carrying the berries. Could it be something along those lines?
Yeah. Well, so Professor, I know that Piggy Sue, she turned back into herself right away. So let me check. Do I still have my other floof?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So Piggy Sue turned back into her regular self. So why don't I run an identify on you to see if something happened while you were out? Do you mind if we do that?
He's perfectly fine with getting more arcane knowledge.
Okay. Well, I haven't had time to learn identify, so we'll have to spend the whole 10 minutes. So, Professor, if you could stick out the least scabrous part of you, please.
You get like an elbow or something here.
Okay, thank you. So, I want to do two things while I'm casting this identify, okay? And one of them is just internal to me. I want to use... I don't think I have a... I'm still getting the hang of my new evil abilities. I don't think I have a specific ability that I can use for this, but I want to at least roll an insight to see if I think this is really the professor.
Sure.
Like making small chat with him while I'm doing the identify.
Yeah.
And of course the identify itself to see if he's under the influence of something. Because my alarm wakes me up, but it doesn't necessarily tell me who it is. Yeah, if I were an illusionist, I could do it, but as an enchanter, I can't. Oh well. So those are the things that I'm doing, and yeah. So let's resolve that.
Okay, go ahead and roll an insight.
Okay. I believe I'm floating a +1.
I believe that you are as well.
Okay,
and
so
you are welcome to throw that in there.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that.
All right, you can thank Ravenstar for that +1. Boop.
Oh, it's a 25.
Hey.
Wow. That's pretty good.
All right. The professor's here. Sounds like him. Is acting a lot like when you've had to collaborate with him before. And I'll tell you, Bright, if your floofs don't... I don't know, like, it's like two... like Cocker Spaniel ears, but, it's a very angry kind of... and they're almost like what a frustratingly annoying man this professor is. Coming in here, disturbing your sleep, asking you to expend your energies on something this great professor... Again, translate this as you will into Bright thought and Bright speak. But, ooh, if this Cypherius just doesn't make you furious in some way. I mean, this is classic Cypher. Always coming to me, needing me to solve another riddle, to sketch out an arcane component. Oh,
Okay.
what a needling person this professor is. And that being said, also in your mind, this is most definitely Cypher.
Okay. Okay. So, just to. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that it's Cypher.
Yes.
So, okay. Do I have any sense of why he's so irritating all of a sudden?
Probably because you're evil.
Oh, well, but that's not. Okay, well, that's not how Bright would see it necessarily.
I just I want to
Even.
give you flavor, and
Okay.
especially for people watching, I'm kind of hamming some stuff up. But yes,
Okay.
this you probably aren't going to react the same way you might before. But maybe there's just something about him that finally, this, this person. But yeah, you get the results of your check. It's just I get to give it a hellish twist,
Okay.
and so that's what's going on here. I'm not saying you
I'm
got to murder him. I'm not going to stop you from doing it, but you don't have to. It's
not
just he's a
planning on
needling
murdering.
individual who's also just grotesque. He did like you look down and yeah, there's like some coagulated blood. You just prestidigitated that.
Okay. All right. So what did the identify say?
He does not appear to be under any. There's nothing about the professor that is magical.
Okay.
That at least you wouldn't expect. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
He has his pack rod on him. Wouldn't identify kind of on his entity pick that up. Sure, why not? But you expect that to be there. But despite him like crusting and like you almost like hear little crinkles as the scabs are falling, only to reform before your very eyes. He's like the shifting landscape or something that you've been traveling over. He's normal. There's
Okay. So Professor, let me just to get this straight. You went out to relieve yourself, and when you came back in, you were back to normal, or back to abnormal, I guess.
I was probably like this when I woke up. I was just too bleary, and I really had to go.
So when you were going, did you notice, like, did you have scabs and things down there? Because there's other things that can cause that.
Yes. Right, who do you take me for? I'm a cloistered scholar, or something along those lines. Yes, in fact, that's what was most shocking. I noticed it midstream and, well, dashed back as soon as I could.
Okay.
And he looks at the rest of you like, you were sleeping too. You haven't returned back.
No, you must have gotten it when you went outside. When Mordecai, I don't want to.
Outside.
Yeah, you must have gotten when you went outside, because, I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. We don't really know how this outside works, but we know that like the energy here is mutationally. It mutilates everyone. Mutilates everyone. So.
That's not too far from the truth.
So, so it's probably just that. I don't know. Maybe you need to get a good night's sleep, or oh no, that means I'll get it 2 in the morning. Well, how about this? Why don't you go ahead and go back to sleep, and in the morning we'll see how you are, and we'll see how everyone else is, and if you need another berry, I'll give you another berry.
Yeah. I don't sleep.
Because
Maybe.
because
Go ahead.
we don't want to, we don't want to do the experiment yet, right? We have to let everybody else wake up and see how they feel in the morning. So maybe have Casimir. Well, it can't be Casimir because he didn't. Maybe have Mordecai or me go outside once we've all rested up and see what happens to us, and then we'll have more information. If I give you a new berry now, it'll spoil the control group.
Yeah. Science and all.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do the best that I can. If you notice anything, please let me know. And he goes back to his corner of this round hut. And as he lays down, he sounds like an open chip bag that someone steps on. And then rolls over, making some more crinkles. And tries to go to sleep. Whether or not he's successful, he has his back to you all as he's facing outside.
Boy, I sure could go for some chips and salsa. Okay. Well,
I don't have a prop handy for that noise.
I'm surprised. This is the first time.
There's an empty one over in the trash can. I guess I could fish it out, but there we go. Thank you. Immersion.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll try to go back to sleep to finish the long rest.
Okay. You do so. Mordecai, you're having dreams. You're asleep. I'm not going to interfere with you unless you want to wake up. Although, probably, at some point in time, if you want to wake up in the middle, you can. You want to wake up at the end. However, I am going to say, because unlike the Fey Cave, where you were sort of held in suspense, we're going to experience the fact that you all, and this is actually story relevant and not anything else, you all are actually going to wake up from sleep or after sleep, and you are going to be hungry. You are going to be thirsty. Mordecai not craving blood per se. However, this is going to be the first time in a while you are going to have a certain biological function as well. And so it would seem that your bodies are, I don't know, around, that are, you're not held in time in the same way that the Fey Cave was acting. Yep, the professor getting up and having this was, I guess, the only sort of forced encounter. And you all can get up in time. You need minimum 6. I don't know. Maybe you want to push it a little bit more and hit that snooze button until 7.5 hours. That way you have a half hour to dither about while the dome still holds and do what you got to do. Although Bright, you might need to mem some spells or something.
Yeah, I'll be learning new spells.
Okay. You have achieved a long rest inside this blister-looking tiny hut out on a endless plain of cracked, dry ground. Congrats.
It's probably only got like a couple of minutes left up before it pops when everyone awakes. So, all right, are we ready to get going and see what's going on over there?
Give me just a minute.
Casimir and Mordecai, you will see that the professor has returned to looking like a humanoid pinecone, and
that's disappointing.
Yeah. Well, Mordecai, one of us is going to have to go outside and see if we turn back. I mean, the hut is going to only last for so long anyway, so maybe we just wait for it. But hopefully I don't know, maybe we don't know what happened to the professor out there. He said he just went out to pee.
Well, it's got a couple of minutes, I think, left before it pops, so... And I have to stay inside, otherwise it does pop without anything. So the only person who could leave would be you and Casimir.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to. I'm still working on my spells for today.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can go outside, but don't know what difference it make.
I don't know that it would. I mean, you could just wait. Just pack your things. That's all that Mordecai's really doing, is packing up his things and making sure that Jasper's ready.
Sure. Yep, you get things packed up. You got, you'll have to do what you got to do. You do need to be mindful of the hut. Little Bright here.
I am eating ration.
Yes,
Yeah,
Casimir scarfs down a ration. Mordecai, would you like a ration as well?
I don't know that I have any.
Do you want one of mine? I can hunt later.
Do I have any? I haven't eaten in so long that I didn't pack any.
You can have ration.
What's this made out of?
Ah.
That one is pheasant.
Okay. I might have digestion issues later. Just saying. Need to find something fish later. And I go ahead and scarf it down.
Okay. Scarf. The professor will have to eat something as well. And I wonder if he has anything. Backpack, parchment. I guess he could just pop his alchemy jug and drink some mayonnaise for breakfast.
That doesn't sound very good.
Doesn't at all. Ew, gross. Darkle was dying.
It just sounds like something one of my players would say.
Beautiful.
Maybe maybe not mayonnaise. Beer has some nutrition to it at least. It's calories and some carbohydrates. So maybe
hydrating.
Yeah.
Does he need ration? I have extra.
Yeah, he would probably need a ration. I'd probably allow him. I'll give you your first day of getting by with beer, but after that, you're gonna have a problem in a couple different ways. All right. So yes, the professor does not chug mayo, and instead eats a Casimir ration. Bright, do you get to nibble something too, or are you sustaining yourself in another way?
I have rations.
Okay. Then
I will deduct a ration.
Mordecai muses to himself, I feel like an idiot for not bringing any along. How was I supposed to know?
How dare I not presume the optimal outcome?
I know, right?
I've done my job well as a DM then. Crush all hope.
Yeah, maybe we'll buy something at the city.
While Jasper's being, tended to, you guys are nibbling on things and, coming to terms with this. The professor is, the professor is grumbling and bemoaning his particular state, and he is letting off some Eldritch blasts just to test, because he feels that he could make peace if it was just something on the outside, but there's even just something he feels even scabrous on the inside too. And
their aim's a little off.
Yeah, he's and there's a point, Mordecai, like you say that, and he almost gives like a growl and is just letting Eldritch Blast go, and they're blowing little chunks of dirt and rock up with the modified shape of the force energy that's channeling through his body, through his gauntlet. And he's going to grumble some things that I should probably have the mature tag up for, but I don't.
Okay. Well, Professor, let me give you a new berry, but we don't know how long they last, so save it for as long as you can, and then when you need it, just take it when you need it, not before.
But I need it now. Look at me, Bright.
Well, I know I'm looking. I'm well aware that I'm looking at you. We just. What if you take it and it wears off again, we'll be down a berry. You know how valuable these berries are, not just to us, but in terms. Think if we brought these back, and think how much money we could make raising berries and selling them, turning vampires back into humans. We'd be the richest people in all of Mesomaska.
the most important thing, isn't it?
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
I'm sure you'd be as rich as the flower fields, raising exotic plants that only they know how to grow.
Yeah.
He harumphs, and any sort of eerie resemblance or irony is lost on the professor, since he wasn't around for any of that. He knows them as just exotic agricultural or florists.
Well, as soon as the bubble pops, then we'll know if I revert
Who,
back to
who
normal.
are flower fields?
Oh, with Casimir too. Yeah, that's right.
I kind of feel Casimir and the professor as we're walking.
Okay. Yep. Your tiny hut, your sort of blister on the dry, cracked skin of this world, does indeed pop, and just as with a lanced boil, it sort of like oozes and then goes down as the magic recedes. It doesn't leave a mess behind because it is magical, but the effect is.
So, Professor, I have a theory. It's worth a try. I don't know if it'll work. It might work, it might not. You were able to lift this whole coin with your levitate. And I know that's bigger than you usually can, but you could do it because you really wanted to, and the coin gave you the power. Maybe the coin would give you the power to fix your skin.
It would take some studying. Maybe I need to study more. I've been agitated. I'm sorry to all
That's
of you
okay.
that I have been. Yes,
Honestly,
well,
I didn't really notice.
Leviosa, and the coin begins to float as he can levitate at will.
I can levitate it in French.
All right, let's. If there's a city, there's at least someone with
Someone.
some knowledge, some resources, something other than us being in the middle of a dry desert of nothing and. 1 second.
I checked my teeth. Do I have fangs?
Not unless you did before. Whether kind of naturally
really.
pointy canines. They're not elongated and hollow to
They're
allow
not
you
vampire
to.
teeth.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Then you just have normal ones. Not ones that let you turn people into Capri Suns.
No Capri Suns anymore.
So he's going on about. Remember, Mordecai, when you're biting, if you give someone a squeeze, it's like an extra little boop. Little extra rush. It's and so he's going at this dry, blasted, forgotten place with caravans, and as he kind of he rubs his eyes, it makes the sound like a 60 grit sandpaper on wood, and he looks out, and you can see through kind of a shifting. I don't want to say a mirage, like it is an illusion, or that just that effect. You open the car door on a warm day and just the whole inside of your car is shimmering and shaking. Through that heat effect, you are seeing perhaps a caravan of things. There's certainly wagons, and they're not being pulled by what you can tell. And Mordecai, you have some sharp senses, and all of you can look and blink away the sleep and study and everything else. It looks like really large people are pulling wagons in the effect of if we in real life were pulling a something from like a metal radio flyer to some of those bigger ones that can kind of fold out. You can put a bunch of snacks in there, or some parents will put some kids in a wagon like that. You put 2 or 3 in, take them around the park or the amusement park or something like that. So there are some wagons of different sizes, but they all seem to be pulled by large, ponderous people. But details cannot be seen through this haze. It is a ways off so too is the city. They appear to be heading towards the city. So your options would be to perhaps approach this caravan, to approach the city, or do something else. Maybe you want to go back into the smoke and rummage around more. I don't know. You don't see the smoke.
Which direction is the compass pointing?
The compass is pointing towards. You readjust your eyes, do the spinny thing, and your compass is pointing in the direction of the city, such as the line kind of drips down onto the ground and goes forward ahead of you.
And that's where I'm headed.
I am going to take I don't think it's too much of a liberty to say that the professor is going to attune to this blank map during this study time as well. I presume there's no objections from the three of you for doing that.
No.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty happy because, I mean, this just saves me from having to cast Detect Thoughts on him.
He,
So, you guys, do we want to bring the coin into the city with us? We could bury it outside. It might be safer. But then things shift around and we might lose it. I don't know.
I don't think we should keep it. Should have it out of our sights.
Okay, because it might attract attention. I mean, it's kind of
big. It's huge.
kind of
it's a
attracts
death
attention.
symbol. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if Ouija symbol's actually going to cause problems here. We don't know the culture at all. So I think that is a smart idea.
I don't know. I mean, I can always... I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe bury it somewhere and put an alarm on it.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. But also, besides just burying it, maybe we can... I mean, I can make an illusion that we might be able to hide it in. But it doesn't last. How long does it last? I haven't used this spell in a while. It only lasts for 10 minutes. So we don't want to do that if, except in an emergency.
Right.
Do we have large sheet?
We could throw all our bedrolls on it, but that's gonna be kind of obvious.
How far around is it?
Remember, it was 4 feet wide.
4 feet?
yeah, it was 4 or 5, and then I think I said 8
would
inches
cover-
thick.
1 or 2 bedrolls would cover that easy.
As you're going through this plan, and you certainly can, I'm going to interject on behalf of the professor, and he's going to start up by again getting very agitated. Flecks of his lips, are removed from his face as he shouts, only to be before your eyes replaced with more scabrous flesh. And how are we to get back to wherever we end up burying this? We don't know where anything is. The only thing that we know where it is the city, and apparently this caravan. And as he's saying that, you all see, as he's gesticulating wildly, everyone. This is PG-13. As he gesticulates wildly, you can see that there are some words that are appearing on the scroll. They're also fading. However, on the scroll appears a roundish... Bright, you're a calligrapher. The shape that manifests is almost like that time when you... Totally, it wasn't you. Accidentally put your cup of tea on the parchment. And it left that ring.
I would never do that.
I'm not saying you would, because you paid me. But yeah, a shape manifests and on the map, and so too does a little bit of a wobbly line. But as that's happening, it's it says city next to it. It says caravan. This is in the common tongue for you all, and there's also just little representations of you all in, I guess, like a proximity to each of these things. Now, I don't know how the professor would see each of you. Pandering of the highest order. I love it.
I absolutely never put a cover onto parchment. Here's $5.
Thank you, Fluffy. But what I will bring up is, especially in his current mindset, and of course each of you. Oh snap! TT2KB, welcome with the raid. You all are just continuing the cliffhanger of how I'm describing what is happening here. So thank you for that dramatic moment. Welcome, and Cold Spark, thank you for the shout out. I hope that you all were having fun in fitness and health. Oh snap! What were y'all doing? Though there was an illustration in our meta as players where, if you recall, Derek ended up drawing each of your characters as Jade saw them. And something akin to that is manifesting on the paper where each of you, including Jasper, manifests. And I don't know how Lethality would like to describe how he sees you all. Maybe he sees Bright as simply, I don't know, some little chibi character, or Casimir as like some buff, like primal savage dude, you know, with like a 12-pack abs or something, or whatever, or maybe just sees you as just kind of a slug or something, or some, you know, as a dense, like a tree stump or something. Anyway, some reflection of you all that does have your names, or at least what he might call you, will also show up on the map that is wildly gesticulating. And, you know, you're not the same size as this ring on the map that looks, you know, kind of jagged or sloppy, but is probably this city or outpost, or what. It's not like a, you know, whatever, a little 100-foot by 100-foot outpost. I mean, like, ooh, it would be a big place. But it's showing up there, and then there's this kind of little wiggly, almost like a little snake that's slowly moving towards the towards this area here. But you all are also on this map, and it would appear that if you were to bury it somewhere, you actually have a here to bury it. And if not a here, then there's a there.
Okay.
You can even bury it under there.
Maybe backpack on top, make it look like just traveling wagon. Word. Like, just make it look like it's not going.
So Mordecai, I have an idea. Why don't, if we bury it, you have teleport, right? So if something happens to it and my alarm goes off, you could maybe teleport us to it?
I could instantly get us here.
Casimir, what do you think? Would that be good enough? I mean, we could get here in just a few seconds if we need to.
I don't trust your magics.
Okay, well that's fair. All things considered.
I mean, I'm an arcane tinkerer. That kind of makes sense. Things tend to explode.
But not as teleport. We've never had a teleport explode.
No, I haven't actually used that at all. So, it's still in the experimental phases. There's no actual practical knowledge in that one just yet. So we'll see. But, theoretically, I could get us back here in an instant. I can only do it once a day, though. So.
I say we just bring coin with us.
Professor, what do you think?
Well, we have this rare, precious, holy symbol from an ancient lost culture, and we have some sort of a place surrounded by unlimited wasteland and lava, and has an ominous black smoke rising from every chimney-like orifice in the buildings. He snarks. I think it would be best to leave it away. Someplace that we can come back and retrieve it. That way we'll know exactly what we're getting into, and I do mean that quite literally. I'm in no mood for puns, though they may still happen as a warning.
Then bury it is. We
Okay,
found
well,
it in dirt, and no one had bothered to pick it up before.
okay. Well, I'll make a hole with mold earth
Okay.
shape for it. And Mordecai, do you have something that you can put into? Well, I mean, I guess we'd probably remember the coin because it's pretty special. But if you have something else that you could put in the hole with it, that you could use as like a token to help teleport to, that might help.
He pulls out a dagger that they got from back in Flower Fields. That Corpus Creeper.
Oh.
That
Okay.
injection dagger.
Yeah.
Oh,
And throws it in with the coin.
Okay. Bright, as you dig here, every like scoop of earth looks like a face silently screaming as it opens its mouth and kind of like folds in half and just subsumes back into the ground. So one giant face at a time, you scoop out an area large enough to rebury this coin.
well, that's interesting. Huh. Even the ground is screaming.
This place
Well-
is weird, and I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, really? I think it's starting to grow on me. It's nice and warm. I've been cold all the time back in as a mascot.
Not that cold.
No, but just enough.
Well, we can get back here as soon as we feel it's necessary. So if you
Okay.
want to put an alarm on it if you want.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was supposed to do that. Okay, I'll do that. It'll
Okay.
take 10 minutes.
Okay. That's fine. And the place where you bury this large golden disc also appears on the professor's map. And during this time as well, because it's taking you 10 minutes to cast this ritual, the professor goes on a very short walkabout here. And he comes back after doing
He
some
hasn't learned his lesson.
He's within eyesight. He's not going too far. He's no less scabrous for it. And when he comes back, he does show that this caravan off in the distance has moved on the location on the map, and he can show you on this thing as well that where some more major fissures or even things that would be like there's a crater as well that it wasn't formed too recently, but he even shows that there's a crater, and he can show off a level of detail on this map where the craters are or where these major fissures are, and even to the point where he takes a second to think about it, and there's just the 5 of you, because we're including Jasper as well. Unless, did you summon Peggy Sue yet, or not yet?
No, she's still dead.
Okay, duly noted. And there's even to a point where like he's looking down, and even like where he's looking is showing up almost like what we would see as like a live feed on the map, except it does look inked or sketched. Maybe bright. That's a cool aesthetic for you. You're getting, an okay amount of detail, but it seems like where he looks in the immediacy, Casimir's feet, and then you see like the web of cracks around it in the ground. But then his gaze shifts over to Mordecai, and you see, a different set of boots. You see a different set of cracks. Then he looks at Bright, and you get this kind of rotoscoping like face of Bright as well, and Bright, I don't know, say or do something with your face. You get that, but it shows up as kind of a sketchy, like kind of a sepia look on this old leather of questionable sourcing. But then he'll take a second and he'll think about the city, and then boop, it goes back to your location, the coin, and then there's a city, but the caravan's not on it, and then he takes a moment and the caravan is back on it. and it's continuing to plod slowly towards the city.
Interesting. It's a handy tool.
Yeah.
Very handy tool indeed.
How interesting.
Well, now that that's secure.
Okay. Well, let's head on in.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Bum, 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 bum. You begin walking towards this wall area, and average. Casimir's extra 5 will make up for Bright's -5, so average of 30 feet. It'll take you not terribly long.
Extra 5?
Well, you have 35 feet of movement. Oh no, you have more than that, don't you?
45 feet walking.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry, hang on,
5
my
flying.
headset just reset for some reason. Can you repeat what you said?
I can move a total of 50 feet.
That's right. Yeah, you have extra things.
You can dive with your ears for an extra 5 feet.
Yeah.
45 walking.
Okay. Well,
Jasper also has the 30-foot walking speed, so
oh yeah.
Bright was really feeling like she's falling behind, that she could just ride Jasper.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Sure. Okay. You know, every once in a while that scorpion stinger tail's getting a little close, but you know, Jasper's not trying anything funny yet.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He is.
It's so this city is approaching you all. It, unlike those mountains from before, though the mountains are still present in the background, those don't seem to be getting closer. However, this city does slowly get bigger and bigger, wider and wider, as you'd expect it to. And Bright, go ahead and make an investigation at advantage, because you have the professor also.
21.
Okay. You've slept on it. You've experienced things. You have a 21 between the two of you. Before, you were not necessarily making progress. I mean, you were traveling, right? You had movement but no direction. However, you spoke, some things had come up, and the terrain seemed to shift in a favorable way that resembled a topic at hand, or at least something more specified than just, well, go to the mountains until we arrive, or whatever. Right. And even after leaving there, you walked away as you decided to rest. Now you have this civilization, even this caravan, and the place of the coin. You can look back for the first little bit that you could still see it, and you can still see that it's there. And so the coin's behind you, and you have the determination, not just this compass that is leading you towards the city as well, but this is the place where you all want to go, and it's not disappearing from this map that supposedly is tracking what the professor is seeing or is coming to know about whatever. You pass by another crater, and he looks over, and boop, it shows up on the map. So it's like you're creating these fixed points, these things that are actually existing now. Not that they didn't exist before, but this seems to lock them in.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Noting landmarks.
Yeah, if there's he'll generically, I'm presuming he's gonna note, if there's a fissure or of some kind, or I don't know, you come across a dead body or a volcano, or I don't know. I mean, there wouldn't be like a huge volcano in your way, otherwise you would have saw that first. But things that are majorly notable. If you want him for some reason to memorize or to closely look at like the little spider web cracks of the, the dry terrain or the ground, I guess let me know. Otherwise, I'm just presuming a baseline of noticeable things from, from about, 5.5 feet tall he is, or however, and from a normal walking speed.
Okay.
While you were walking, there is... a fireball is soaring down. A couple are. They're not going to land on you. You don't have to make a save or, plot a trajectory. But there are still some fireballs that are coming down from this unlimited gray-brown sky. The lightning still continues to, zap. It's not a constant flow. It does zap, and it is flowing in mostly the same direction with a bolt every now and again striking down. But none are too near you. One was probably mildly uncomfortably close, but there you go. Okay. That brings us... You walk over the course of an hour, and you are getting closer and closer until you would be on this screen. It doesn't show it down in this corner, so I'm going to take us up to... you have the unlimited plains that you're approaching from. You would be approaching a bridge similar to this from the side that you're on that we can see in the picture if you need the visual here. It does look like the whole place is surrounded by a moat of lava. There are some rocky, charred islands. And just like you see in here too, they're very ashen or just covered in like a coal-like darkness. But there are also really large humanoid figures, but they have some misshapen limbs. One of them has like a big horn that kind of like curls out the side, and the other one has an arm that maybe looks kind of swollen. But there are a few that are actually walking through this lava moat.
Huh.
Based
So-
on the
okay.
things that I've been learning from Celine's book, would I theorize that these are maybe fiends from hell?
I'm theorizing that.
But confirmation.
This type of study wasn't necessarily Celine's bread and butter, as she was more about the process of life, unlife, and death. The concept broadly, because we haven't detailed, we don't have a detailed pantheon when we started playing here. I was adapting to the things that you wanted your characters to explore, experience, or to come from as far as gods or goddesses, because it was a very mutable, it was a very accepting setting for that. The concept of a place that someone goes when they do the things that their patron deity doesn't like is certainly, in our culture, it's almost universal to all kinds of religions, polytheistic, monotheistic, animism, etc. And so there is a concept that she would talk about where there is that there's like a state where death does not... What would a hell to like a Ouija? It would be where you're dead, but you're still alive, but you're not undead. It's sort of like a useless existence, because you exist, but you're not given a purpose through necromancy, even though that's kind of the old taboo stuff. It's still talked about. You're not given purpose, and people aren't necessarily even remembering you, which is more of a softer way to continue to live on. This would just be, you exist for the sake of existing. It's like you're an animate rock. No one's really. Yeah, maybe you're special the first time someone sees you, but then you're in the background. You just exist to take up space, to do something. And so that in itself, I think, again, without lethality here, maybe he'll agree if he watches the VOD later. We kind of give him a synopsis. But for right now, I'm saying that this is the concept of what a Ouija style hell or a place of punishment would be, where you're not even granted unlife, where you do have a purpose and people are at least using you, but they have to recognize you to give you a command. This is just idle existence. You're not doing anything. You're not really helping anyone per se. You're just there. And so you're, also concepts of fire and magic, Ouija, so for sure, we're seeing fire, we're seeing tons of magic everywhere. So this could be perhaps a reference to or a physical manifestation of what she might have appear to be a hell for her religion. Now, for those of you, for Casimir, if you're more of an animistic person, your concept of it might be different. Or you might just really be, I got out of Aslandia for a reason, and you're like, yeah, this place is pretty much, endless heat and trudging and whatever. And so in that regard, it's a physical thing, but, yeah. There's not like a universal of where all faiths are sent to, like a Hades or something, despite who, you might be into Zeus, but you're still going to go to Hades. You might be into Aphrodite, but you're still going to Hades, kind of a thing. There's probably similarities as well, which I'm going to say would have an uncanny resemblance to being a place of destruction, a place of heat, a place that oftentimes would be like the volcano. A lot of people talk about if that volcano that's in the inner sea ever really exploded again, as it's theorized that's what caused some of the islands to be formed and whatnot, then that might end up being likened to a hell on earth for Mesotopia, because fire is raining down from the sky, things are destroyed, people don't know up from down and sideways, livelihoods are ruined, everything is disjointed, the old ways are sundered for not even new ways, maybe even they're just sundered to break. And so for many people, that is a very bad fate. And they're happy that the volcano's pretty well just been kind of lazily. It was dormant for a while. It had been smoking a little bit, if you recall your trip on Lelywelyn's Gamble or Folly. It was said that as you're traveling by, it was smoking. It's not an unheard of thing, but it's one more thing on the. Oh, great! Another possible disaster on the horizon. Ugh, right. Boring. But there would be no real clues. Maybe with, I'll tell you what. Why don't you make a religion check? As clues might be in there, but that would take specific study. But maybe you picked up on something that could be of. Okay. No, nothing necessarily in the book. But you are seeing that while the figures do kind of have a charred look, their bodies are different. Much like when you were mutating, Bright had one leg that was twice as long as the other. Over here we have someone with like a really ends in a claw, and someone else has, like a really long horn. So these giant things that are shuffling about appear to also have this sort of mutagenic property to it, or what was it? Mutation or something that Bright said. Mutationlation. Thank you. See, the gnomish language making things efficient. Mutationlation. So they were probably mutatiolated. And but we're talking, these are 20, 30-foot creatures, depending on where you're starting and ending measuring them, that are waiting in this exterior lava moat here. And you can from the outside. Okay, nope. I mean, you as players can also see kind of on the inside of some things you'll be getting into, but they're not just on the outside of the city. Okay, so with that fun little clue, you are pulling up. This caravan did go across a bridge. That's not the one that you approached, because you two are approaching the same city from two different angles. And it's nowhere to be seen. It's presumably already crossed. You have now, from your approach, we come down here, and there is a bridge that ends at the circle that would go back to the vast plains. And ahead of you, after crossing the bridge, there is a gate. And there do appear to be two guards at the gate. From the shimmering heat and whatnot, it's difficult to make out. They are rather large, people-ish shapes, and they have very long bladed weapons. Some kind of maybe a poleaxe or a polearm of some variety. I will say this as well: as you're approaching the edge of this crater, the blasted land is uncomfortably hot. You haven't had to travel too much to make any sort of an exhaustion check. Though this bridge, and mind you, any potions would have worn off because your bodies are not in kind of a stasis like they were before. Crossing this bridge is going to expose you to tremendous heat coming up from the lava below. Mordecai, I mean, it might make you sweat a little bit, but you are naturally fire resistant. But for Casimir, Bright, the Professor, and Jasper, this would be something to consider, is what are you going to do about the heat coming up from the bridge? And then, of course, there's these two very statuesque people that are on either side of the gate leading in.
Yeah, so how far is it across the bridge?
I'm gonna say it's about 300 feet across. It's a wide gap.
That's a long bridge.
Yeah. The bottom of the stones is all like charred and charcoaly looking too.
Okay. Well, I still have my potion from before, but I didn't really want to use it just to cross a bridge. Did anybody else save their potion, or did everybody else drink theirs?
I don't think I got one. Or did I get one?
Me and Professor drank.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have
Jasper's
magic
pretty quick.
that'll help with it. Well, also maybe if we flew up high, it wouldn't be so bad. But the problem is I mean, maybe we could just fly over and just fly into the city, but that might irritate the guards. I don't know.
Yeah, it might get shot down or something.
There are unfortunately no signs or rules or expectations posted in a written format.
Like the sign that says no flying.
Yeah.
No fly zone.
I could dimension door us across.
Well, could, guess. So is the other end of the bridge out of the heat zone, or is it in the middle of the heat zone?
I would say like the part by the gate would have enough rock insulation with like a little cliff coming out that the heat would just kind of like waft up and then go out. Would still roil over the bridge, but the end of the bridge itself would be as sheltered as you are in the normal stifling heat of the barren openness.
Okay.
I can cross in 18 seconds.
So the first thing I'm going to do is cast Mage Armor.
Okay.
Because why not?
Sure.
So, Mordecai, if you wanted, you could walk across and talk to them for us.
I can do that, yeah.
You're immune to the heat, and you're probably the best talker. Given the professor's all, ugly right now.
And talking and persuading are actually my strong suits, so...
Yeah.
Always been a good performer.
Bright, you summon your mage armor, and I don't know what's an ideal to you, Bright. What's an ideal for you right now?
Well, I didn't redo my character sheet.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be necessarily a mechanical ideal from your background, but I don't know. Have you always wished that you looked like a particular like mage robe model, or was there a person was there a calligrapher, or like did you always have like, oh, Delos of the Blue Flame, oh, he's so cute. Is there someone or something that you considered to be ideal to you, or powerful? Someone who's like, or a concept that's
Ideal
this
appearance of some kind.
Do you mean like right now or from before?
Right now is your summoning mage armor.
I want to be a lich.
Okay, so Bright summons mage armor and kind of has this as the ambient heat shimmers off it. Not that it repels heat, but whatever special effects. You are getting a helmet kind of forms, and you get like a skull mask. Like you can still see Bright. It is still this translucent effect. So it's not illusory in the in that regard. You're mechanically getting mage armor, but all of a sudden, like she's kind of like Skeletor. Like her skeleton's on the outside. Like you can see whatever, like gnarly. I don't know, Bright. Maybe you're like, oh, calligraphy. I've always wanted tattoos or something, and you just get like arcane sigils, like scrimshawed into your bones, or maybe I don't know. You keep some flesh here because it's really good as like a post-it note. You write something down, and then you stick it somewhere, and then you get another one, and you take that layer of skin off and post it somewhere to remind you to conquer the world on Tuesday. So yeah, however this lich appears, you're getting a glimmering. And so every once in a while, it'll kind of like a neon sign buzzing, and it'll kind of go back to its suppressed mage form look. But as it does manifest and provide Bright this mechanical benefit, she appears like a lich, a very, very gnarly looking one in some way.
That's a look.
Yeah, well, I never really quite know what it's gonna do.
It's
Do I
not
have-
a good look.
It's
for you.
random, lol.
Yeah, it's totally unpredictable. Do I have floof bones?
I
like
would,
floof bones.
I was just gonna ask if you actually wanted like finger bones for your floofs. If you want, yes, because this is secretly that your mage armor is manifesting as this like power fantasy of Brights. So yeah, if you want bony hair, you are welcome to have it.
Okay, I have floof bones. I'll
Okay.
need those.
Yeah, not a good look. I don't like it.
Bony tails.
Really cute and adorable is your look, right?
Well, I mean, maybe you'll get used to it. Who knows? I could end up looking like this for a lot longer than I look like my normal self.
Would not recommend.
All right, so team.
I'm a purveyor of fashion. I should know.
True. Team Solo Mordecai is going to cross the bridge.
Yes.
Are
We'll
you
keep an eye on him?
Are you walking? Are you flying? Are you teleporting? Dashing?
I'm simply approaching, simply walking, not in any kind of panicked way. I am simply me.
Sure.
This way I don't spike any like guards to attack me. Because it would be just shame if I died in hell.
Probably.
I mean, where do you go when that happens?
Yeah.
Probably
Double
stay
hell?
in hell.
The professor.
it
The
doesn't really
professor
matter
says
then.
this is an
I
experiment.
want to
That.
stay in hell.
Okay, so you begin crossing. The first part of your crossing. It's warm, and your resistance is your shields are holding as a part of your biology. However, the next segment it is getting warm, and you are going to take damage. You still can apply your resistance, but you're actually going to be taking damage and not just it's causing a couple beads of sweat here. I'm sorry, Mordecai doesn't sweat; he glows, and
I walk quickly.
yes. 16 fire damage.
Reduced to 8.
Yep. Then the middle part is super hot because it's right in the middle of everything.
Hang on.
Oh.
I'm not done calculating that yet.
Okay.
I'm bad at math.
Any sweat kind of like evaporates off of you, and
Okay.
okay. Then the middle, the hottest part for you, is going to be 28 fire damage. As just apparently there's a lot of angry, like, roiling lava and bubbles, and ooh, you all see almost like a heat wave just shimmer up. And suddenly, taking a shower in a fireball might not be such a bad thing, but this is super intense heat that's coming up here. And then we're getting cooled a little bit back down now that you're past the midway point, and then the last fifth, there's going to be no damage. And so this is going to be 14 fire damage.
God damn. Okay. A
And
little too hot.
you are now, I guess, in like the safe zone. You're in the last fifth, let alone... Oh, Wolfblade, thank you for re-upping your sub. 10 months, my goodness. Enjoy that iced tea. So you have this last stretch of, it would be like 60 where others might take a little bit of damage, but it's free for you because of your resistance. And then there's like that ledge where there's really not going to be anything ambient because it'd be like standing on just the lip on the other side. And you do see two really burly people. Mechanically, we're talking maybe large. If not, then they're scraping it. Super strong. They have really fierce-looking pole axes. However, their helmets are crafted interestingly. It's not like brutal armor or with a stern visage. Each of them actually has a very round, super smooth and shiny. No blemishes, no carbon, whatever, from, searing flames. Smooth and shiny, like baby faces. They got little, like, little scrunchy noses. Their eyes are closed, but kind of have that happy Buddha look to them. But these are like little, well, they're not little, but, they're like polished gold baby face helmets on these super burly guards. They're standing there silently. I'm starting this narration when you're 60 feet away, and I'll let you move in, but this is what you're seeing because you don't have the waves of heat, especially in that middle section. That was a storm. But yeah, that's
I start my approach.
okay. You begin walking. They don't move. You're walking a little bit more. I'm not talking round by round. This is just, cautious. Are you like putting your hands up or anything? Or are you confidently strolling?
I am walking at a kind of leisurely pace. I quickly sped across the bridge, but I'm walking at a little bit more of a comfortable pace now.
Okay.
Not really hands up, but not really menacing.
Okay.
Trying not to look menacing anyway.
And in your mind, you don't even hear from beneath a mask. In your mind, in a perfectly pronounced infernal. Who are you?
My name is Mordecai. I say that out loud if I have to.
You can. You could try replying in your brain. You've had those magics done before.
mean, I do both.
Sure. Okay.
So.
I'm Mordecai. Are you striking a pose at all when you say this? Stern or, fashionable or...
Nope. Just normal.
You hear another
a little
voice.
prim and proper, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. So your posture, you kind of put your shoulders back a bit, or whatever would be culturally appropriate.
Up straight. Yeah.
You hear in the same voice, but in your mind, you know it's from a different source, presumably from this second baby-faced guard.
Mm-hmm.
You are disgusting looking.
It's a matter of opinion.
Where are... This is from same voice number 2 that called you disgusting. Where are your wounds? Where are your fangs? Your snakes for hair?
Not entirely sure. What do you mean?
Voice, the same voice but different, number 1, speaks in your mind, but also presumably through your brain to the other one. They don't move. They're not regarding each other or anything along those lines. It doesn't matter the exterior so much as the interior. Yes, that is correct. You seek entrance.
And information. Where am I?
Moment. One of these large creatures is slurping through the lava behind you, and the others. I mean, you on the other side of the bridge can also see this creature kind of trudging past, and just moving in an unending circle through this lava. You are approaching Oiho.
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 And this is a city.
Yes. It is the first step of many. Though for many, they're final.
What do I find here?
Whatever you seek. Pleasure, riches, violence, power.
A woman?
Yes.
Because that's all I seek.
You can have your pick as long as you are in the right place for it. Not in location. You do not suffer or enjoy the gifts that we can tell on the outside. And we will ask you submit yourself for inspection from the inside if you are right to be here.
All I seek is this woman and to go back home.
Then let us test you, Mordecai.
And my friends across the bridge.
They too will have to be tested.
It's certainly not easy to get across the heat.
No reply.
Is there nothing you can do?
Nothing. If they want to be here, they will make it here.
Isn't that test enough?
That is the test. It must be completed. Then you're here. Then we examine you.
And say if they were to fly over.
If they're capable of it, they can fly across the gap. They could fly across the wall. It will be their success and their loss. We exist for a reason, Mordecai, from not here.
And give me a moment to tell them and I'll join you.
No reply? No movement from these statuesque guards?
And Mordecai is going to cast Sending at Bright and say, the bridge is a test, fly at your own risk.
Okay. I'll respond and say, okay. So, Casimir, Mordecai said somewhat tersely that we're supposed to be tested by crossing the bridge. But I think there's more to it than what he's letting on. I don't know, he seemed a little unsettled. I don't know what that's about. They're spending a lot of time over there talking. Has anything visibly unusual happened, or does it just look like they're standing over there talking?
Mordecai, unless I missed anything or you want to add in something, Coffee, Mordecai is standing there in the same pose, presumably talking in maybe a low voice or something. I mean, there is bubbling lava. Of course, that giant charred thing did come tromping through, which was making a bit of a rumble. But it's since
The only thing
passed.
you saw was that he pulled out his violin to cast Sending.
The guards do not react at that.
I can do it.
Professor, what about you?
Casimir is just going to dash across the bridge.
Sure. You have a move speed of what?
45 running plus 5 flying, so I can do 100 feet a round. So I can get there in 3 rounds.
Okay. Then I will. While you don't have heat resistance, you're crossing at such a speed that I will give you. I will give you the average. I'll give you 3 rolls because you're doing it in 3 segments, but I won't have that high spike in the middle because you're dashing quickly. So I will give you 3 instances of damage, but they're going to be at the 4d6 level. Because it'll be kind of a consistent heat as you're racing across the whole time. Partially trying to cool yourself with your ventilation ears. Do you want them separately for things like abilities or anything, or do you just want me to roll it all at once?
Hold on, let me do a quick check. Unless multi-attack defense would count against that. No.
No, there's too many like heat molecules or whatever attacking you all at once. So you're skilled, but we're not talking like 3-5 epic where you're like walking up molecules of air to get a ridiculously high jump check or whatever.
All right. No, you can give it all at once.
Okay. All right. Casimir just says, "Give it to me," and so it'll. Ooh, this is some harsh lava. All right, 41 fire damage. However, you make it across. There's probably some singeing, some uncomfortable things. And you are also greeted by voices that do not sound echoing from helmets, that are also not coming from Mordecai.
I did it.
And
Mordecai.
you hear in your mind, Casimir. Welcome, Casimir. Entry is yours.
Cool. Give me a second.
Just don't say, "Let me cool off," because that's not really going to happen.
Hey, Mordecai, what's up?
Hello. I think, unless Bright wants to ride on, I think Mordecai's going to leave Jasper with Bright in case she wants to ride on him.
Okay.
With an 80 fly speed.
Okay.
160 to dash.
Okay.
Does Bright want that?
So,
I
Bright.
can't talk to you because I'm too far. I don't want to send
Yeah.
another sending.
Is Bright worth a spell slot?
Well, Jasper's just gonna sit there until you decide one way or another.
I already know what I'm doing. I thought the professor might need to ride on Jasper.
The professor. Ooh. The professor.
I don't know, maybe he can provide his own means. He can do weird things that we don't expect.
He can do something. The professor, in classic professor style, will tell you, "Don't worry about me."
Okay. So for my turn to cross, I'll walk up to the edge of the bridge, and when it starts to get just a little uncomfortably warm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Investiture of Flame.
Ooh, very cool. I love that spell.
So I'm walking out onto the bridge, and it's just like, you know, in Princess Bride when they light the Holocaust cloak.
Oh yeah. This is
So, and for a minute I think about putting my floofs up like a wick, but I decide not to. So I kind of probably look like Sauron because I'm wearing the Lich armor and I've got the Investiture of Flame. So I just walk slowly up across the bridge, and then when I get 15 feet away from the end, I'm going to use the Line of Fire spell ability, which is right there, to lay out like a red carpet, except it's fire.
cool. All right.
And then I'll just walk on the flaming red carpet right up to the place.
All right.
I know how to make an entrance.
So, Bright, you are also going to get a telepathic greeting, though not by name. You are also going to be... called... I mean, not that Mordecai's told you this, but in the meta, you are also going to be called disgusting looking. And you...
check out my Lich armor.
It is not what you do. It is who you are. We can test that if you seek entrance to Oiho.
So, is Oiho, that's the one that's right by an eyed knee, right?
That is the second layer. Don't even talk about Saxet.
Wow.
And by the way, the professor walks to the end. looks back at Jasper, gives Jasper, I guess, a pet on the scaly neck, and simply dimension doors across the bridge to stand among you.
Oh, that wasn't so bad.
Well, at the same time, he spent one of his 3 spell slots, so...
He gets those back on a short rest.
He
Give him a break,
does,
he'll
but
be
he's
fine.
really greedy about it right now. Maybe
But
even
it's
more
worth
so.
it.
He'll be fine.
It's worth it to prevent the 80 damage you would have taken from the bridge.
True fact.
The professor, as he's also getting greeted, is going to kind of smugly remark, like he's the font of knowledge. Oh, telepathy. Interesting. You know.
So, if you're gonna judge me from the inside, does that mean you, like, have to stick something, up there? Or how does this work?
It works like this. And they...
I haven't even started already.
No, I hadn't even started. So, Casimir, I mean, you're there doing whatever Casimir stuff. And I need Mordecai, Bright, and the Professor to each make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. And I'm not gonna forget this anymore. If this is magic, I have advantage.
This is, in fact, magical.
Then I get a 21.
And I will say, Mordecai, you are also going to have advantage, as will the Professor, for various reasons.
Okay. It's the same roll.
It is. What are the odds? And the Professor... Man. Alright.
Overcame your challenge.
You did, but that's fine, because I really was rolling on you in that one combat anyway, so...
It's a good thing I didn't roll. I would be the one to fail.
It's true. Casimir fails all the saves.
Even with his +1s.
Okay. So the 3 of you... Now, Casimir, I mean, you're just kind of... Whatever. You're standing there all kind of innocently, or not innocently. I don't know what's going through your mind. But for the 3 others, you have a flash in your minds that someone among you is a traitor, is an enemy. Perhaps an enemy that's even abounding. And then, in your own way, the 3 of you actually just kind of make peace with the fact that, yeah, the other people are probably traitorous scumbags. Or how your character would interpret that. However, you are sufficiently evil, having dismissed your, someone among you as an enemy of some kind. And, willfully accepting this is... You each get a Psychic Friends Network message saying you may enter Oiho.
Okay, well, let's go on in.
And in we go. Jasper's kind of left at the end of the bridge.
Yeah, Jasper's just kind of hanging out. He's going to do Jasper things.
He's sit.
Yeah. He'll just kind of put out Jasper energy and, maybe sting something if it comes by. Okay.
Boy.
The best of boys.
He protect, he attack, but most importantly, he stay back.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to do is you have entered the city, but I need to get up and I at least need to take a personal break. And we'll come back in about 10 minutes, everyone out there in Chatland watching along. And when we do, we'll pick up on the interior of the city after they have passed whatever kind of test that they were given. While I wasn't too discreet about it, y'all could probably guess what spell was used. But anyway, break time. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so.